Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Liz. Today we're going to be talking about career options for mechanical engineers specifically, mainly because I got a mechanical engineering degree, and so I'm just going to talk about my experience, people you can work for, industries you can go into, and kind of map it out as far as what I've seen in the industry now. Because when I graduated college, I had no idea what I was doing and I didn't really understand the layout of things. So I wanted to bring this up kind of in May or around, we're going into June soon here. And so this is when people are starting to graduate, trying to figure out their lives. I remember being 22 and not knowing what to do. So the first thing I wanted to bring up was, and so I have my Notion here, and so I'll kind of show you some stuff here, but the first thing I want to bring up is I feel like college did a really terrible job focusing on the actual job that you're going to get after college. They were just like, you learn this and you learn this and you learn all these things, but they never like say, by the way, these are the people you can go work for, or here's the most common jobs in this sector. And I don't know, like I just feel like they were kind of lackluster on like telling you the details of what you can do. You were like, yeah, you go get a degree and you go find a job, right? Like, I know. Like, I was like on Indeed and all these other like websites looking for jobs, but I didn't understand the industries. So today, that is what we're going into. So my experience, I'm going to talk about different companies you can work for, specifics on at least my industry, and then you can kind of branch from there. I wish I would have had a video like this when I graduated so I could understand where I was in the world. So first off, we're going to talk about high-tech construction, okay? So, and this kind of goes into high-tech jobs as well. So you kind of have some options here. You can either be like, you could go and work for the owners or high-tech companies such as Apple, Intel, Samsung, Tesla, Google, Micron, those big ticket names, and go be like a thermodynamics and engineer, or you could go into mechanics or whatever. So that is those types of jobs you can end up working for actually big ticket name companies. Now those are a lot harder to get because they're name brand, So if you think about it like that, you can either go and you can work in there. Now, those jobs are, because mechanical engineering is so freaking broad, you can do literally anything. You can either flex into like an electrical position too. So those jobs, I have not worked in that specific area, so I can't give too much help there. I just know that they're out there and you work for one big ticket name company. And then there's like another layer. So how they build their big like manufacturing plants is they hire a general contractor, such as J.E. Dunn, which is who I work for, Skanska, Hensel Phelps, Hoffman, those kind of like big ticket name construction names. And then those general contractors will work for a bunch of different owners. So they'll work for, and this is strictly like for educational purposes. I'm not saying that I work with any of these people just because there's, it's confidential and all that. But let's say like J.E. Dunn, you could be working for like 5 or 6 different big ticket high tech company names a year. And so you got to get a taste for all the different companies and their cultures and all that. And that's one of the reasons why I lean towards general contractors, is because I could work for a bunch of different like high-tech companies and establish like contacts and kind of get the feel of how things are run. And then if I wanted to, I could go into one of those fields. But I personally like where I am in general contractor land. So I end up working for J.E. Dunn Construction. And then you can kind of see adjacent to it, you have the design side. So you could become a designer. So that's a lot of people end up doing that. So straight out of college, you could either go work for the owner, you could go work for a general contractor such as J. Dunn, or you could go work on the design side. And that's where you go, that's where the FE comes in, you know, that fundamentals of engineering exam that mechanical engineers sometimes take. You take it and then you have to work under a principal engineer for a few years to get licensed. And that you kind of get thrown either into, and you only get to work on mechanical disciplines designs. So you would design duct layout. So that would be duct work, HVAC, you know, heating and cooling, that stuff. Or you can go work into like, or wet mechanical, which would be like all like process cooling water and all that. But typically you'd only touch mechanical drawings, right? So you're not learning the electrical side. And so I personally stay away from that because I like to learn everything. And when you're a designer and you have a mechanical engineering degree, you do mechanical engineering design. So you only touch mech. So on the general contractor side, I touch everything. So that is, you know, another reason I stay broad. You know me, okay? You've seen the channel. I'm all over the freaking place. So that's the design side. So the designers are like Page, SSOE, Design Group, there's Corbin. So I'll link them down below because I want to give you specific names, because you may like think that you want to work for a general contractor, but then you get offered a job as a designer, or like, you know, so that you want to apply to as much things as possible and then kind of decide from there, because the market's kind of crazy. And then one more layer down, you have the trades. So the trades are the ones who go and actually physically build the work. So the general contractor manages the work, and we will help design, we will help them find problems, issues like that, assist, I would say. And then we also have like superintendents who will work with the trades to go and build the physical work. So mechanical trades would be like, they're kind of broken into two different groups. You have dry mechanical and then you have wet mechanical. Dry mechanical is going to be your HVAC ducts, you know. So that's going to be like Apollo, Strymer, you know, H&H. Then if you go into wet mechanical, that's going to be all your like chemicals, water, all the wet liquids. That's going to be like Charter, Harder, Mechanical, and those are called mechanical contractors. Now I have seen some mechanical engineers go into like controls, or they go into electrical contractors. So those would be like OEG, for example. So I have seen some of those floating around. It's a little more rare, but those are also an option. So you kind of have multiple layers you can choose from. Now, this is obviously more in the high-tech construction. And then you would need to go, I would need to go and work in like for the owners to get that side of things. But I just want to give you where I'm at and what I've learned and seen, and where I see mechanical engineers. They're either working for the high-tech companies as like, but they do such small little things. Like they're like in charge of like one specific thing on one specific tool for one specific concept. And it's like, wow, that's really specific. Like I like the general, you know, I like to be a little good at this, a little good at chemicals, can do a little electrical work, do a little controls. So I'm kind of all over the frickin' place. But I personally like that because I just get bored very easily. So that is kind of the lay of the land for high-tech construction. Now, when you're looking for a job, at least when I was looking probably spring, or maybe it was like February. So my graduation date was 2019. So I looked very early in 2019, and I got offers from a lot of different places. And then I did it based off of culture, which sounds like really lame, but it was like a gut feeling. Like when I went out to lunch with the people who I work with now, and we ate lunch together, it felt like so normal. It felt like any other day. And it was because of a lot of University of Portland students actually end up working for Jada in the Portland area. So it felt so natural of a transition. It felt like people cared. They felt normal, where I interviewed some other high-techy kind of companies, and they were just really freaking weird. And not that like weird people are not cool or anything, but it was just like, it was a different kind of feeling. And then the other thing I took into consideration is, you know, salary, benefits, right? So you don't really need, like, I wasn't necessarily looking for like a crazy salary at the time. Like I wanted to establish maybe some friends. I wanted to like the people I worked with. I wanted to come to work happy. I didn't want to work insane hours. So that was kind of like, you got to figure out what you want. If you want to work insane hours and make a lot of money, it's like, then your priorities are going to be a little shifted and you might not want to go into certain places. And then the thing that kind of was the most interesting thing was just the sheer lack of female representation. Now I understand. I'm a female going into construction and engineering. Like, we understand. Like, it's gonna be, there's not gonna be a lot of females around. But like the fact that I literally right now cannot point to like a female role model or mentor at my company that's higher than me in a management position is like beyond sad. So you just have to that's something you have to get through, because in college there were like a decent amount of women representation. It was like, it almost felt like 30-70, and then here it's like 5-95. But and then going into Notion here, I wanted to filter out to kind of show you what I mean when I said dry mech versus wet mechanical. So dry mechanical, so I have it tagged here. You're gonna see like outside air, horizontal airflow, you know, volatile exhaust, your exhaust fans, or this is duct, they call it pipe, scrubbers, you know, so that's what I mean. And then you can also filter, and let's say if I wanted to do just process is another word for like chemically wet, nasty kind of stuff. So this is kind of what I mean by process. So process and wet mech kind of get grouped together. And so you'll kind of see it's more nasty. Chemicals, you know, valve, manifold box, chemical distribution box. And then we'll just do wet mech. And that's, I mean, you're talking about sump pump, maybe a gate valve, some glycol hot water, like really nothing crazy there. But that's kind of like the broad overall of the industry itself. Now, obviously I tried to explain my industry as best I can. I have only been working for like 2 years, so I don't know everything, but like I wish somebody would have been like, this is what it looks like. And then I could make a better educated guess on whether that would be a right fit for me. Now, once you get into general contractors, there's all kinds of positions. As far as mechanical goes, you can go estimating, you can go project management, you go field engineer. So that's another video that I wanted to make to kind of show you, because I've been rotating and been in like this rotation program where I've been playing around with the different roles. And that has been really nice, because I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. Or, oh yeah, that's okay. And then this like feels pretty good, you know? So I'll do a video on those specific ones. I just want to finish my rotation program before I have like my final thoughts on the different positions. But I hope this guys, I hope this helps you guys figure out what you want to do. And I hope if you're a mechanical engineer, you have a kind of a better idea of like what sounds nice for you. And then when I'm saying designers and general contractors and owners, hopefully you have a better idea. Like designers, that's going to be like blueprints. You're making blueprints. We don't call them blueprints in the industry. We call them drawings. At least that's what they call them. So anyway, I hope this helps, and I will see you guys next time.